Hi, thanks for coming. My name's Lauren. You've spoken a bit about how music is much like language and like storytelling, and I'm wondering if you could maybe even show us kind of how you craft phrases that take audiences and listeners on a journey and then still bring them back home, so to speak.
Yeah. Let's do it. So that's such a lovely question. So a lot of music in my mind is about arcs, right? Like it goes up, what goes up comes down. I might close this actually. That's fine. Yeah, like what goes up comes down. You see, it's like an answer and then it's a question, and there's tension and there's release. So it's kind of a binary. It's a binary thing if you break it right down. Every song is basically. That's every song. And there's just like different ways of achieving that feeling, isn't it? Like I'm at home. Someone give me a key. E minor. Oh, it's a bit of a plaintive home, but we'll start there. So, if we're at home in E minor, harmonically speaking, we have neighbors, and we have locality, you could say. Can I be in E major just for a second? Oh, I appreciate that, man. So I'm in E major. Actually, you know what? I am going to show you something on my computer, which is going to help with this. So. Thank you. Look at this lovely circle. Has anyone seen this before? It's a very simple circle. Some people call it the circle of fifths. You can also call it the circle of fourths. It's kind of up to you. It's completely made up. So the useful thing about this circle is that it's just a nice shape. And also, it shows kind of localities, you could say. So in terms of where keys are placed and how they interact with each other. So see at the top we have C. This is C. Actually, if you could sing a C, that'd be really nice. Ooh. Okay. So right now, you're bang in the middle of home. You're like, that's where you are. That's my key. If you keep singing the C, and I'm going to move to F now. So you're now not quite home. You're what we call in music the fifth of the chord, which means you're here. So your relationship with the chord has changed. So this is the thing about chords. There's all sorts of notes you can add to the chord that changes the chord's quality and function and gravity. And a lot of music and narrative is about movement and change. So and momentum, you could say. So if I'm in C, my two sort of primary neighbors are F and G. Right? And or like a lot of songs, probably like 75% of all songs in C, use C, F, and G, and that's it. It's fine. You know, there's lots of things you can do with C and F and G. And one of the first things you can do is you can change the order of the notes, which is called inversion. So this is one example of C, and here's another one. I'm just reorganizing the notes, and here's another one. Yeah. So there's 1, 2, 3. And they all just have different feelings and different amounts of movement and momentum and gravity. This, for example, is a lovely inversion because you're home in C, but you're also not quite home, are you? It's like you're not like there. You're just sort of perching, but with groundedness, you know. Whereas if I'm in this inversion, that wants to move. It wants to move to somewhere different. You know. So this is like the least settled, and this is half settled, and this is home. So this is before we add any kind of like spicy notes at all. It's just 3 notes, just a triad. We say a triad is a 3-note chord, C, E, and G. And so that's C to F and C to G. And if I keep going further along this way, then I sort of climb upwards into the bright zone. You see the bright zone. So here's G, and here's D, and here's A, and E, B, and an F sharp, which is also known as G flat. And if I were to go the other way, then it's C to F, to B flat, to E flat, to A flat, to D flat. It gets darker. In my opinion, it feels like it gets darker. So there's all sorts of ways you can approach keys and move around within keys. But say I'm in E major, right? And say I have a melody. The melody could go, say, what about this one? It's a nice melody. So as a musician and a harmonist, I have so many choices about what that melody does, what the properties of it, and those choices come around when I harmonize it with chords. And you could say melody is like the words or the line, and chords are like the emotional fabric beneath them or within them that give them a sense of purpose and direction. And rhythm is about where they're placed in time. Those are the three main elements of music: melody, rhythm, and harmony. So choice-wise, each of these notes has a whole set of chords. In fact, every single note goes with every single chord. So B, which is the first note of our melody, goes with E. It also goes with C, and it goes with G, and it goes with F sharp minor, and it goes to C sharp minor, and it goes to B flat 7, and it goes with E minor 7, and it goes with E7, and it goes with D flat 7, and there's literally every chord, like every single one. And so one of your responsibilities when you learn music is to become acquainted with your options, because then when you're a storyteller and you're thinking about harmonizing this, you can describe how you want it to feel. So that, for example, is less resolved than that, because it's perching. And it might move, you don't know. Or if I were to go like that, this note here is a D. And that note doesn't really fit in E major because it's darker than E. It's D. It's more of the anti-clockwise direction. So if I establish I'm in E major and then I start using notes like that, it's just a particular feeling, isn't it? It's like a darkness is coming, which is very different from the idea of that, which is like a brightness coming in. And all I'm doing is I'm hopping two chords in each direction. So if I go E and I go down to D, it's darkening. If I go E and I hop up to F sharp, then it's brightening. And each of these things gives a direction. So say I go like this, I might go here, right? And that's the direction. If I go here, then maybe I'll go here. And then, of course, you can change key. It's one of my hobbies. Changing key. I do it as much as I can every day. It's a really interesting sensation when you change key, because your mind knows part of what's going on, and then part of it's unfamiliar. So, say I'm in E major, which of course I am, and I have this note G sharp, which is one of the notes in E major, one of the three notes. Now, G sharp is also in other chords. Another chord, for example, that it's in is C sharp major. So actually, can you sing this G sharp? So examine the feeling of being a G sharp right here. See? Okay, I'm going to change key now. You ready? Keep singing. Wow. Oh. So, thank you. So you're a bridge. You're a bridge from E to C sharp. It's just one note. And the feeling of having something that stays the same as other things change. Do we know like MC Escher? We know this? We know this guy? Legend. He really liked to play with perception, the idea of a staircase that maybe is rising but also maybe is inverted and maybe it's going down, and he'd have people on different things. It's like the photograph of the old woman and the young girl, the illusion. How many people know this illusion? Okay, I'm actually going to, I'll just show you. So, because what we're talking about is modulation of awareness. Who's this? Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So do you see how you can experience this image in at least two ways? And one way is where this line here, that's the young girl's chin and she's looking away. You see that? She's looking over her shoulder. And the other way is where this here is the old woman's mouth and that's her chin protruding just there and the big nose. It's exactly the reaction I was hoping for. It's a very simple idea, but it's actually it's beautiful. The feeling of it is like, ooh, it's like actually feels like a physical change in your mind somehow. And that's what we just did here. You're thinking you're a G sharp, but then you're a G sharp here, and all the relationships change. The whole map, your whole local map changes. And so, essentially, I could go on literally for 500 hours about this, but to answer the question, I think that when we think about departing from home and returning home, it's just a matter of how do we control what's familiar, what's unfamiliar, what makes tension, what releases tension, and create satisfying arcs, more satisfying than that, where there's really a journey. I'll do like a miniature journey. What key shall I end in? Shall you have a key to end in? F sharp. I heard F sharp. It's one of the best keys there is. So we're going to start in E major. Thank you.